Okay.
All right.
All right. 3, 2, 1, and record. And I believe we are live. Welcome to number 1 episode of the new podcast, Bulk Nation. Before I introduce my fellow talk show co-host, let me just talk about the talk show a little bit. It's just going to be a weekly podcast thing we're doing. Mainly about, the majority of it's going to be about games. We're going to try to do it as much as possible, guaranteed at least every Friday. And after we do it live on Twitch, we're on posted to YouTube. But anyways, let me introduce my fellow guest sitting in my top left corner, Mr. Tyler.
Hello.
In my bottom right corner, we have Mr. Taylor.
Hey.
And then in my bottom left corner, the girthiest man of all, Mr. Joe.
Nick.
I am Zol, girth of thousands.
And there we go. And I'm Michael. I will be your host, along with my co-host. They're just as important as I am to this show. So let's just get started. E3. What are you guys looking forward to?
Holy shit. E3.
Everything.
That's what I'm looking forward to. Fucking E3, dude. How long have we been planning this talk show? Forget about E3 itself. I mean,
this talk show has been in the works for like 3 months now. We're actually missing one person during the talk show. It was supposed to be a 5-man talk show. Unfortunately, due to scumbag moves, we do not have our 5th man. Unfortunate, but whatever. We're just going to go on with the talk show because we've been trying to do this for about 4 weeks now and just hasn't happened. But essentially, during the talk show, what like the kind of like the drift I want and like the vibe I want from the talk show is just like just hanging out, talking, having a good time. I mean, just like any other talk show, just nothing too serious. I mean, we'll bring up controversial topics every now and then, but
we'll try not to, right? We'll try not to.
Well, I mean, it's more like we're just talking about it. It's not like anything serious. We're not gonna try to offend people. That's the main point I want to say about the talk show. I don't want to offend anyone during the talk show. Just bring up like our point of views and stuff like that. But anyways, who has the best conference this year at E3?
Oh, hell. Putting the hardest question first, huh?
That's kind of the big question of the night. It's
hey, man.
Who takes the show this year? I mean, all of us here are huge Xbox fans ever since, I know me and Taylor
Anthem,
Halo.
If Anthem, Halo, and if just those two get announced, I think Xbox
is gonna be huge.
Well, and like that's the thing. It's for the last couple of years, Microsoft's kind of been like letting not just me down. I think the majority of people down, and I know us.
There seemed to be a relative consensus last year that Sony took the E3 cake.
I mean, out of Xbox and PlayStation definitely had the better half. Yeah. I mean, surprisingly, last year I thought EA came out on top with their press conference, and that's hard for me to say because EA's reputation is, EA.
Well, since then, EA's reputation has really taken a hit. But at that point, you got to figure they had their new Need for Speed, which off the heels of the last one, maybe good expectations, maybe not. But I think the biggest thing, and what turned it up being the worst thing for them, was Star Wars Battlefront 2. And on that alone, you could say,
and
last year they had a huge lead.
Well, absolutely, and we all loved Battlefield 2. It was a great game, but a lot of people got discouraged, and I really don't know why they got discouraged from like they say it was pay to win. It wasn't really pay to win. Even Tyler You played it more than any of us, I think, and
I'll tell you, me and Tyler had a good time playing that game.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't grind it as much as like you guys, and I mean, I didn't see how it was pay to win. Like, yeah, you could get chests and like, but everything was
what I think
earnable
it
in a
was-
reasonable amount of time.
That's what I was about to say. What I think it was is, I mean, it's no secret to anybody that that type of loot format EA has in a ton of its games. It started with its sports games, and like we all said, we enjoyed that game. I really enjoyed Star Wars.
I will be
Battlefront 2.
back. The food has arrived.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's possible to have a bad time with that game, just with how true to the Star Wars universe it is. I think it was just on behalf of the whole community, it was like, why is this here? Why is this in Star Wars? It was okay in sports games, and then of course Need for Speed released slightly before Star Wars, and I don't know what, I didn't get to catch up on the reception of that, but why is this in Star Wars if it didn't need to be?
And I
I
mean,
don't know. That's
it kind of comes back to the whole conversation where it's who takes the show this year. Like one game I wanted more than anything to come to this E3 is a new Elder Scrolls, and I know Taylor, if he was here, he would be agreeing with me on that. I mean, we've just been huge Elder Scroll fans. I think Tyler would agree on that. Joe, you didn't really get into the whole Elder Scrolls scene, but I think
No.
Bethesda has a huge opportunity to take not only have a good conference, but take the whole E3. Xbox and Microsoft conference. I mean, the Microsoft conference said that they're bringing the heat this year. I've heard that. I mean,
So many times.
how many times? I mean, we've been planning a drinking game where every time they say you've asked and we listen, we're gonna take a shot. I mean,
shot, right?
we'll probably be passed out after the first 10 minutes of the conference because I mean that's just what Microsoft has done for the last 4 years. Ever since I think Phil Spencer took over, I haven't enjoyed an E3 as much, which is unfortunate. He nothing against Phil Spencer, great guy. Like he's been doing great for Xbox, and I mean it shows with Xbox. But I think just when you're up against PlayStation has been like true to gamers. And Xbox took a huge hit when they tried to go to entertainment in general. So they were trying to go Netflix, they were trying to go this, that, and they kind of stepped away from gaming. But I think Microsoft has to open the book this year.
All right.
And
I think the problem with Microsoft last year, if I may, Mike, I think the problem with Microsoft last year was it was the most unexpected of the failures. Because you had slowly but sure, I mean, you had COD go for Sony's conference. Then you had Destiny go for Sony's conference. And I mean, we all watched last year's E3 together. And me, personally, all I really cared about was Forza. And as long as Forza was
Sea
there,
of
I didn't care.
Thieves intrigued me at the time because I didn't know. I had never seen it.
And I think Sea of Thieves did that for everyone. I really do. I mean, when you watch Summit play it on Twitch, you watched all these huge Twitch streamers play Sea of Thieves. They loved it during the beta, but they wanted more for when the game actually came out. And when the game actually did come out, it was kind of a bust, and it kind of died very quickly. Like you haven't even heard of it since.
TVP's a joke. I didn't find anything out of it. I mean, it's just so
and I think
boring.
that's the epitome of it. And it seems like more and like so E3 used to be the announcement center for all these games. So Destiny was. Where was the announcement for original Destiny? It was at E3. Where was all these CODs announcements? Now they have these new. Tyler went all blue on us and changing colors on us now, but now they went and they have these press conferences right beforehand. Like Destiny, I think they have on June 5th. Bungie's having their year two reveal, which.
Yeah.
I mean, just takes away from E3, in my opinion. Like, let's wait till E3 and let's bring all this out. Have your conference. I mean, if Bungie wants to have its own mini conference at E3, I'm sure they would be able to do it. Bethesda does it. And
you could argue it's fallen off in significance to some of these publishers. I mean, EA, for example, EA doesn't even have a dedicated E3 briefing. It's basically just the intro to their event, EA Play.
I think they're just
So-
not playing on E3's schedule. Like they're not gonna wait. Like they have a timetable, and they're not gonna wait for E3 specifically to do what they would need to do. You know, they probably have certain deadlines they need to fulfill, and that's just the way it goes. You know,
And-
when
They
you're
want to
dealing-
market
Yeah,
as
no.
much as they can.
And
that they've got.
absolutely. And one of the problems with like, I mean, we bring up Destiny. Destiny kind of hit a bus of a game. I mean, we still play it. We were huge grinders through the Destiny 1 dead phase of it. And it seems like me and Taylor were talking the other day. It seems like Destiny is taking that same path as Destiny 1 did, where it was the game came out, everybody loved it. Everybody's like, "Oh my god, this is great." It hit a dead phase because it got repetitive. DLCs came out, brought some of the fan base back. The true dedicated people still love Destiny through the dead phase, but these 2 DLCs brought some back, and then they bring out this year 2 reveal, and that's where like the Taken King DLC comes in, where like Destiny 1, when Taken King came out, it brought the whole game back to life.
You can
And-
only hope they've got something lined up. for
I
Destiny
hope
2,
it's
because
Taken
Destiny
King
needs it.
sized, and it's a revamp like Taken King was. Like Taken King, like just completely reformatted everything. But I don't see them changing like Infusion. I don't see them changing like the fundamental light system right now. So I mean, like, how big is it gonna be? That's
How
what
big
I'm
can it be,
concerned
yeah.
about.
Yeah, no,
'Cause,
absolutely.
I mean, unless they restructure everything again, which you know, they can do, and I wouldn't necessarily care that much. But I mean, as long as it's fun. At the end
And
of the day.
I think one game we're also I can say 95% of the people were disappointed with. Joe, 99% of people were disappointed with, the 1% being Joe. Division. I mean and like that's kind of what like Division was just broken, man.
Can I jump in real fast here?
Well, hold on, Joe, hold on.
Can I interject?
And let me just say before like we get into all this, Joe is a huge
Yes.
Division fanboy, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I think everybody was a Division fanboy when it first came out.
I played up until 1.5. I can say
Exactly.
consistently.
And I mean, like that's awesome. Like Division was awesome when it first came out, and then they broke the game. Division 2, I don't know if Ubisoft
I wouldn't
pisses me off, and
I wouldn't say Division was awesome when it first came out.
Well,
Division
it was
had its-
better than it was when it ended though. Like
Well, it was better.
today's
It was better
date.
because everyone was playing through the initial campaign. The problem with the Division was outside of bugs and glitches, which every game has, but this one to a much more extent. The problem Division had was for a genre of game that revolves around endgame.
Mhm.
It had no endgame. It had nothing. I mean, you. I'll go into this in a bit after
Listen,
after
Joe,
you preface it.
I
But it's
I think I'll argue this till the end of time with you. I think gear sets just ruined everything that game. did.
I would agree on that.
And
I'm not
I
even
think
talking,
Dark-
I'm not even talking about gear. I'm not talking about anything.
I
I'm
think
saying
Dark
just the
Zone-
base itself.
I love Dark Zone. I love the concept. You know, as annoying as it was getting ganked, but like I like that PvP experience because it was new and it was
Well,
something
and
different.
like I will agree with that 100%, 100 times over. It was the concept of the Dark Zone, best thing.
It was the
Like
most ambitious thing ever. Yeah,
exactly.
It was one of the best things that had
But
gone
when
for it. And that was why it blew up in the rafters at the E3s where they teased it.
Exactly.
That was such a revolutionary
when-
concept because now you have PvP that doesn't hold your hand. It is Wild West. Guns
Exactly.
blazing, go you can get.
And the problem with that is now that I go into the Dark Zone and the game feels that I just like me personally when I look at Division and like I was watching the trailers, I was watching the teasers, all this. It's a game quick killing. You die quickly. This person dies quickly. Like take cover. It's a cover based game. So and so. But I'm in the Dark Zone and I'm shooting someone with 4 clips and then they heal themselves.
Exactly.
And like it was a very spongy game, and I think that's what ruined the whole experience of Division for me, the Dark Zone. And I feel like that was a lot of people. And then when
My
gear
main-
sets came out, it just added to the problem.
Yeah, see, my
10
main
times
and my hope
over.
and my hope for the Division 2 and I could go on this forever, but I know we don't have forever. But I'll just talk about a couple of things here. Dark Zone. The main problem with the Dark Zone, at least what they've done since then, It's like I said, at launch, that game had such a poor end game and was just so poor overall. They had to rush to cater to the fans who were left. So, like, I don't know, Mike or Taylor, which one of you that said it, but like you said, you don't mind getting ganked in the Dark Zone. We understand that's what the concept is. Well, a lot of the fans who were left did mind that. That was one of the biggest cries against the Dark Zone. And it's what led to Rogue 2.0, and now you have to push a button to go Rogue, and it was just, it became a convoluted mess since then. The problem with Division is you heal, and it kind of has to be for a skill-based game, like to have the whole skills and electronics side of it. Healing is so big a part of a game where, like you said, it's not like, Mike, it's not Destiny where we're fighting aliens. We're fighting people. Like, they are human characters in this game. We don't expect them to have infinite health.
Exactly.
And be it based on the build you walk in with or with the skills you carry with you. I mean, there is literally a gear set in the game, Taylor, like you said, that gives you a free health bar when you die. Okay, cool, it's interesting, but it completely breaks the mechanics. When I drain an opponent's health bar to 0, I expect them to die. That's a really basic, fundamental piece of a shooter that they just stepped on.
And I mean, like, and the greater picture here is, like, the reason I bring up Division and stuff is Ubisoft has their own conference. They have their own little briefing. And I'm just saying, like, because I'm trying to find out who's going to have the best conference this year. And EA, I don't see EA having the best conference this year. Me personally, last year they had Battlefront 2, which, like, that interests me. That interests a lot of people. So that's why I'd rank it as one of the higher conferences, just for that sole reason. Besides for the cringy guy that couldn't, like, speak during the conference, stuff like that.
Oh God.
I mean, in general, like, Games Shown, they probably had one of the better conferences. I'm not going to say the best. I would probably give that to Sony. So I'm going to rule out EA for, like, my pick as top conference.
I was going to say, I think it's going to be pretty tough for them.
And
I mean, forget about what they present, just based solely on the negative PR that they're coming off of right now. I think it's going to be really hard for them.
And then, so that leaves a position open for Ubisoft. I mean, Ubisoft, Division 2, Division 1, I mean, took E3 whenever it came out. When did it come out? 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Took it by storm.
I mean, it was the talk of E3.
It's the fastest selling new IP ever. But they are in the same boat now.
Exactly.
And just because I'm a fan of this doesn't mean I don't get this. They're in the same boat now that Destiny was. Or that any game for that matter that has had a sequel where it's, okay, we gave you your first installment. And there was a select group of fans that stuck with you through that. We understand it's your first game. There's going to be some growing pains. You got to get all that shit ironed out. It's the second game. It's time to step up. It's time to step up. If the second game makes the same mistakes that the first game did, you cannot expect the third chance. You just can't.
No, absolutely not.
Well, I mean, you can look at COD, for example.
From some people. From me, admittedly, I'll buy it and I'll love it no matter what.
It just depends on COD. COD was successful up until, in my opinion, up until like Black Ops 3. Then it started going downhill with the jetpacking.
Yeah.
But you just have such a hardcore fan base that's waiting to see its survivability. That's why I think COD and honestly Fortnite, just because Fortnite's it's annoyingly huge right now. And I say annoyingly because I think a lot of people are getting sick of it.
Yeah.
I hear about it. I see I see professional athletes talking about it now.
Well, let's bring that up as well.
It's becoming a plague.
Well, yeah, let's bring that up as well, actually, because I forgot Fortnite's going to have a huge presence at E3 this year. I mean, people are already predicting a new map comes out of for like, this is where it gets announced. A new map will be coming with E3 this year. But besides for talking about like Fortnite dying, because I don't think Fortnite will ever die, even if they don't change map, like whatever. But anytime soon, at least. But where will they be? Where will Epic show up at the PC conference?
Very interesting question.
I haven't. Let's see if that's like out. But I mean, let's just like, if you think about it, like that's gonna be a huge game. That's probably gonna be a huge talking point of E3.
And like you said, Taylor, Fortnite's they're in a go big or go home situation where, like you said, they've got their core. It's not gonna die anytime soon.
So
they're the complete opposite place of the division where people are satisfied with the product they got now. Now it's surprise us. What do you got? What can you make with this? They've already had a lot of stuff.
Here's what I'm seeing about Fortnite at E3. It's gonna be a tournament. So Epic's announced the tournament. Of course, that $100 million prize pool. Taylor, you're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're breaking up just a little bit. But anyways, so like it looks like here that it shows the duos that will be playing. Ninja and Marshmello. That's a huge one. Paul George.
There you go.
And Myth. That's impressive. I mean, Tyrone Woodley and Nadeshot. That's a huge one, man.
There you go. Wow.
UFC stars coming into this. And I wish I could hear Taylor because
Bugs a lot. He's gonna be there.
Because Taylor would probably be interested in that part. He kind of froze out.
Xavier Woods.
I mean, just like this list is kind of cool. With like people. But anyways, so this next talking point I wanted Taylor to be around for, so I'll just skip it and I'll go to a different one. Let's bring up Sony. So Sony has Destiny, of course, but Destiny kind of gets taken away from Sony's due to the fact, 1 second, now the formatting's all messed up, but due to the fact, he'll be back in a second, so I'm not going to fix the format right now. Sorry about the format. But so it kind of gets taken away from Sony's conference, Destiny, because
I was gonna say, hold on, before we move on from that, Mike. Though, do you think they have something?
Destiny?
Do you think they have? Yeah. Do you think they have a
absolutely
King style thing in the works? You feel like they do?
Absolutely.
I hope they do. I really hope they do.
I mean, it just feels like they're doing the same thing as before, like 2 mid-sized DLCs, small DLCs.
And they got that one big surprise.
And then they have the one big one. Let me work on getting Taylor real quick back in here. Taylor, if you can just end the party and come back in, if you can hear us.
Yeah, I hope Destiny, because I feel like, back to the overarching question here, which is who's going to have the top conference. I feel like Sony's biggest hitters last year were COD and Destiny. And considering how much we already know about Black Ops 4, there really isn't room for surprise with Black Ops 4. They may show more gameplay and stuff like that, but we saw so much at that community reveal. I feel like the burden is on Destiny to be the big surprise coming out of Sony's conference, to be the thing that nobody expects. And I guess I'm just pessimistic in that regard. I don't think they do. I really hope they do have something up their sleeve to make it a close contest for that, because I feel like Sony's going to need that if
absolutely.
They want a chance at taking the top.
Taylor, I believe we can hear you again, maybe?
Yes, no, maybe so.
That's a no. Okay.
Negatory.
Okay, well, I'll just do this for right now, just so formatting looks a little bit better. Sorry for the formatting again. But...
Hey, it's our first run. This is the Division 1, right? This is our first run. Gonna have a couple bugs.
Well, I mean, it worked fine until one gets disconnected, which is what I was kind of worried about in the first place. But whatever, it happened. We make do. So let's just talk about the fact that, so that takes away from Sony, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah.
Taylor? Hello?
Hello?
There we go. I can hear you. Hello. Just can't see you.
Good God. Sorry, gentlemen.
That's fine. That's fine.
Good.
All right, where are you boys at?
I just can't see your webcam.
1 second.
All right.
We're talking Sony's chances.
So, yeah.
Taking the cake, and how they kind of need Destiny to be the big surprise, because we already know so much about Black Ops 4.
Right.
Which, how are you three on Black Ops 4, by the way? What was your
I
opinion?
didn't see enough of it to give it a good judge.
There we go. There we go.
On what? Black Ops 4?
Black Ops 4, yeah.
You know, God, it's tough, man. I want to give it a fair chance.
I do
like
too.
it.
I do too. I mean, I don't see that battle royale taking off in the way that they think it's going to. I mean, I feel like they pushed all their chips into the middle of the table on that, but people are not coming to a COD game for Fortnite. They're coming to a COD game for COD.
Yeah.
Taylor, we can't hear you again. But anyways, so
It looked cool.
Hello?
It looked really cool.
okay,
but
there we go. Perfect.
there you are.
Okay.
So, all right, here was the point that I was trying to like bring up before like you left. I'll finish like my point on Sony. So like the problem with Sony's people that they have at their conference. So we've already said Activision because they have Call of Duty. Call of Duty's already shown us what they got in store. So we're gonna see a little bit more, whatever. Like, so be it. We'll see some more of Black
Matter of
Ops.
fact, I would be surprised to see COD be a smaller part of their conference as a result. Just because
But exactly, but
showed
like
so
it's not going to
much.
be that new exciting thing where like, holy crap, it's a new Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming we're going to see more about the BR mode and stuff like that. And then we talked about Destiny. Destiny did the same thing. They're having their conference, their own little conference, before. So
They
there's
really haven't about this.
yeah, June 5th they have it on. I'm sure Deej will be displaying a brilliant show on Twitch on June 5th. And being huge Destiny fans, like I hope it's something great like Taken King. But again,
Oh, fingers crossed.
that just takes away from Sony. So, I mean, Sony just gets taken away from because of those two games right there.
Those are just base hitters.
And I mean, we'll already see a lot of those games before E3 even happens, and we already know a lot about them. It's nothing new and exciting. Like when everybody was waiting for the BR mode for Black Ops 4, well, we already know it's a BR mode now. It's not going to be new and exciting when it comes to Sony's stage. But one thing that I did want to say, and people that I think can have the best conference, is Bethesda. And because me and Taylor both said this, and there's just a huge cry for a new Elder Scrolls game. So they announced this new Fallout 76 or whatever multiplayer. The rumors have it multiplayer Fallout. Well, that's great, but like I think the fan base cares more about like a multiplayer Skyrim kind of game, and I think that would be just a game that takes E3. Taylor, you are muted again, I believe.
I mean, coming from someone who, as you guys pointed out,
Hello?
doesn't really know
Yes.
too much about that series. I played Elder Scrolls Online, and
You need to brush up, Joe. It's quality.
I mean, I did play a little bit of Elder Scrolls Online. I feel like
Not ESO. No, that's not the experience I'm
ESO?
talking about. ESO is completely different. I'm
the
talking
only
about
one I've ever seen
Oblivion,
was like
Morrowind, and Skyrim.
Skyrim. Yeah, that was the only one I ever
Those
saw.
are
'cause my brother
completely
played it.
different.
Yeah.
Listen, like honestly, like in a perfect world, I'd want to see, because I really want to see Anthem, and I really want to see another Elder Scrolls.
Well, that's what I was saying. So let's take Anthem for example, and this is why I believe Xbox can have one of the best conference. Anthem. What has Anthem come out with before E3 so far? What have they said? What have they done? Nothing. I haven't heard of Anthem since last E3. So rumors have it, and I'm not sure if it's
There's
confirmed
a
or not
trailer
yet.
coming out, from what I'm hearing.
Okay, so let's say there's just a trailer. But they're not going to have a conference like a Activision or a
No.
Bungie is going to have. So,
Yeah.
and rumors have it as of right now that Anthem is going to be Xbox. Not exclusive, but it's going to be marketing rights for Xbox and Microsoft.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's 100%
I wouldn't be
true.
surprised.
Correct me if I'm
I wouldn't
wrong.
be
But
surprised. EA usually sticks with.
and I
Xbox.
mean, Like, that's going to be a huge game, and that's a huge victory for Xbox. But, I mean, is it enough? That game alone, just being marketing rights for Xbox, doesn't mean they're going to have the best conference. So what else we can expect from Microsoft? Well, another Forza, of course, we can expect.
I mean, I just real quick on that Forza. They have been strangely. I mean, I know you guys don't follow this. From what I've seen, they've been strangely quiet about this upcoming Forza, and they've let speculation run wild. And the overwhelming consensus, whether by something we've seen or just because so many people want it, is that the next installment, Forza Horizon 4, will be set in Japan somewhere. Now, perhaps not for us because we're not racing fans, but for that crowd, that's gonna blow.
I just see, like, I put Forza in the same category as like a Madden. Like, those games were just like the staple games that were, you know, they look good, they come and go. Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know when you get a Forza game, you're getting a good game. It may not be the best game, it may not be the game you remember for the rest of your life, but you know you're getting a very polished, decent product for $60.
All right. Well, that's the thing. So, like, I mean, Forza, here's a tip I will give to Forza. Change the name to the Grand Tour. You're selling a hell of a lot more copies. I'm just saying. Because, I mean, I would buy it if it was called the Grand Tour, just because I love the Grand Tour. I love Jeremy Clarkson, and they had him as an announcer in Forza whatever. Like, I can't even remember it. But like Taylor said, it's like an EA game. It's just something that comes out every year. It looks a little bit better than last year. It has a couple more features than the last one. But at the same time, I can make my last year game the new year game. Like roster change, update rosters.
Again. I'm looking for that, like back in 07 when I had Gears of War, I had Halo, and I had Oblivion all at the same time, and Call of Duty. Like, that was unbelievable. Now,
exactly.
I can maybe look forward to one game. Like, I'm not seeing all these titles that are just amazing coming out. Like, it's like maybe one good one, if that. And they're usually not finished anymore. They're not polished. There's a lot of shit wrong with them.
I mean, you guys have expressed doubt. Do you think that next Halo is ready?
I think they have to be.
Because I mean that alone, I feel again for different crowds, right? Like I said, for the Forza crowd, if that were to happen, that would. For like, I'm not the biggest Halo fan, but I can imagine for the group that is loyal to Microsoft for that reason, they can win the conference and all the positive PR on that alone. If they execute it correctly.
Here's the thing that, like, back then, again, like, I never would worry about a game. I knew when, like, next Halo was coming, I knew it was going to be good. Nowadays, I'm always on the fence about something. Like, it's like, is this going to be any good, or is this going to be?
Well, that's what I'm saying. And like,
it sucks.
We've heard 343 say, like, we're trying to get back to the roots of, like, Halo 2, which was, I mean, by far one of the best Halo games. I think if not the best Halo game ever, from ranking systems to whatever. But it's like we're talking where this new generation of games came out, and it's like kind of like the Call of Duty scene. It's like we saw jetpacks come. Like, oh yeah, that's cool. Like one game with jetpacks, whatever. And correct me if I'm wrong. It was Advanced Warfare, right?
Yes.
So we have these like jumper packs, like whatever. Like when I played Advanced Warfare originally, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool, whatever. Like something different.
Advanced Warfare was terrible, in my opinion. I don't know.
And a lot of people did. A lot of people did. But also, like, when did Ghost come out? Was Ghost the game before Advanced?
Yeah. And that's the thing.
I mean, well,
Advanced Warfare, so you couldn't go any lower than Ghost.
I mean, I still, to this day, think that's maybe better than Infinite Warfare, but it's still like, you know what I'm saying?
Infinite Warfare?
It's quite possible.
I
don't even give Ghost that.
Well, like, I'm just saying. So, like, Advanced Warfare, I think, was just fun for me. Like, Sledgehammer, I thought, like, I enjoy playing a Sledgehammer and Infinity Ward game. rather than a Treyarch game. That's just how I've always been. Like I'm a huge MW2 like nerd. I want another MW2.
Sledgehammer gave it a good whirl their first run. You got to remember the factors that were coming together at that point. You're on the heels of Ghosts, which got absolutely panned across the board. And you're telling a new company, that was the beginning of the three dev cycle across 3 years. You're telling a new company, okay, make a game. So,
well, and they were ambitious with it. Who would have thought a jetpack?
They had to be, and it was cool. I didn't really end up liking it, but it was a really cool concept, and I remember being.
But so they put it into Advance, and like I've always been someone, I like the World War II scene. So this World War II game came out, and I mean, I lost interest in it. I don't know if it's me just losing interest in Call of Duty in general, or if it was just like this game was just boring to me.
I think there's nothing to it. Like, it's funny, like with all these game-changing mechanics, in 10 years, I can confidently say I haven't had a game with a good ranking system since Halo 3.
And that's
that
where
was the last game I played that had a ranking system that was worth it.
And that is where I'm going with this whole thing. It was, these games are catering to a new generation of gamers and forgetting about the people that made video games huge. What generation made video games massive as what they are today? Our age group. Our age group is the ones that played the Marios of the world. We played the Super Smash Brothers. We played all these games, man. And we are the ones that brought it up. We played the original Halo. We played Halo 2, Halo 3. We played all these incredible Hall of Fame games, man. And now it's like, okay, well, you're catering to this new younger crowd that loves these Call of Duties, and like you're trying to adapt to the generation, but they forget our generation's still playing these games, man. Like
it became a fairness campaign.
Exactly.
Like,
and
my 12-year-old son can't rank up to
exactly.
I'm sorry.
And that's where I'm going with this. Like, I agree with you.
The understanding that there's going to be someone who's better than you. That's part of the reason why I play a lot. Like, that's part of the reason why I like racing games. Because racing games, I can race against the AI all day. If you don't want to compete, you don't have to. But when you walk into a Halo, when you walk into a Call of Duty, you should at least that's our way of thinking. You understand you're going to come across adversity. You're going to face a team that's just firing on all cylinders, knows all the spawn points, has all their classes ironed out, and they're just going to steamroll you.
Well, like, look at us during Black Ops 3.
It's a game.
Black Ops 3 kind of had a good ranking system for me because I enjoyed, if we lost, we would lose a rank. If we won, we'd win. But the only problem I had with that ranking system is you lost one, well, you're losing that one rank. So basically you have to go on a win streak, which, like, I'm not a huge fan of. Like, I agree you have to win to level up, but I don't agree with, oh, well, you lost, so you get penalized.
Yeah, maybe
like,
not equal,
huge,
but have there be a penalty.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I mean,
I agree with that.
Just to link it back to what we were talking about earlier, I mean, we were talking about the Division and how that PvP was so ambitious. They did that exact same thing with the Dark Zone, where you used to have a pretty severe penalty if you went. I'm pretty sure, if you went rogue and you died, you had a pretty severe penalty for that. You would lose XP, you would lose DC funds, etc. They completely took that away. Now, granted, it was rather marginal to begin with.
Yeah, but your level didn't mean anything. Like, they gave you a Dark Zone level purely just for loot. Like, that could have they could have implemented that in a way that it would have kind of mattered.
And half the time, do we even know if the Dark Zone was full or not? Like, half the time I didn't even see people. Like, I was just grabbing shit and running it in. Like, and I was gaining rank. That was just more of like a grind level rather than like a skill level.
There are so many changes that they have to make for the second installment of that game. I don't want to go back on it fully, but I'll just say the biggest thing has to be you have to differentiate gear for PvP and PvE purposes in a game like that. You have to.
Absolutely.
Have to. Destiny does it perfectly. Your guns have scale, and your armor have scaling power in PvE to verse more powerful enemies, so that power can scale infinitely. You walk into Iron Banner or Crucible or whatever it is, and the light level advantages are taken off. Every gun is just based on pure stats. Everyone's got the same health. None of that.
And like
having a balanced PvP. It's not the same thing as having a PvP that caters to fairness, right?
Exactly.
Having a balance means everyone walks in with the same chance, but will inevitably gain different results from it. Fairness is when you try to control every little detail of it. You remove any penalty, you remove any advantage for a streak, like you said, Mike. It's a
and
really
let's bring it back to the whole general conversation. Who's going to have the best conference at E3? So EA, I mean, what can we expect from EA? Like, let's go over this again. EA, we can expect a lot of sports games. We can expect what else? Like, they have Anthem. They have Anthem, so
Battlefield V, which is gonna I was gonna go on this before I brought this Division again. Mike, you said you liked the World War II theater, but you weren't very high on COD World War II. Battlefield 5, though, from what I have heard, they botched the reveal of it, is going to be a World War II themed shooter, and that is one of the things that I like about the Battlefield series is they have never apologized for their PvP. They haven't simplified it. They haven't gone. I mean, they've gone for balance between weapons and factions and stuff like that, but they have gone bold with it. You've got vehicles. You've got different types of weapons. You have different types of classes. You have huge, crazy maps that may or may not at some point favor one side or the other, and that's just how they go. It is a wide open Battlefield playground.
I think whomever has Fortnite, and I really hate to say it, just is going to take it in a landslide. I really do. People at this point in time are just so sucked into that game.
Yeah.
And I was too for a few months, and I'm still playing it now, but they're just so into that game right now. It's just like anything, like they give people a gun, one gun. It's like trying to.
Well, all right, so let's say this. So, all right, so Saturday,
Here we go.
so Saturday, June 9th, we have EA going. So, like we said, a lot of sports games, and this works great for Microsoft because Anthem, they would not show. It's an EA game. They would not show first at Microsoft. They will show at EA first.
Right.
So, whatever, like, let them show it off. Let them get everybody hyped about
That's how they
it.
do it all the time with the Battlefield 2. They'll have their own little EA Play thing, and then Microsoft will have an extra little snippet on it.
So EA, they'll be in good shape. They have Battlefield. They have a list of games that people will be interested in. Microsoft said they're bringing the heat this year. I believe them every year. I believe them every year, and I do believe them again this year. Fool me once, like, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me three times. I don't know what the fuck to do after that.
Mike, if you make that metaphor, they fooled you last year.
I mean, absolutely.
I remember we all watched that together, and I remember, my man, you were like,
I was fuming
really
because I was
freaking,
expecting a Halo 6. I was like, but like, listen, Microsoft has such a huge potential this year that they could like just hit on, and that's why. And like, just thinking of the games, how long it's been since one came out, I think Microsoft can have a huge, massive. It's gonna be huge. Conference.
Tremendous.
It's going to be a huge conference.
Just real quick with Microsoft and comparing it to last year, my opinion on it was, at least one of the main opinions I had on it was, the theme from their conference that just they screamed to the rooftop last year was indie games. And I get that they have to shift their perspective a little bit. They're in a period of transition because they always, at least to me, always felt like they were the more of the big two. You have Microsoft and Sony. Mm-hmm. They were the hardware-oriented one, whereas Sony was more on games. Right? Microsoft was always, Xbox One X and all the processing power. I mean, they had the Oculus Rift and everything like that. So they have to make a transition back to where now they're starting to collect all these new IPs that can someday become the next COD, become the next Disney. The problem you have is they're making terrible picks. Like, I understand having a little indie dev corner, but with some of the games, some of those little cartoony games they showed last year, did any of them honestly think that they would be remembered as the staples of E3, that they were going to compete with Sony's heaviest hitters? There was no way.
Absolutely
and you
not.
can't have that be the main. Microsoft cannot have that be the main staple of their conference again. They just can't do it.
Exactly. And so let's bring up the next one, Bethesda. I don't know if like they just showed their release, like if they just showed their press conference. They have a full press conference, and I'm assuming going to be a pretty decent, like maybe an hour press conference. I don't think they can just go over Fallout 76 the whole time, like multiplayer, like because and let's just here's my thing, because whenever they do something for one game, they do it for other games. So last year, VR for Fallout 4. What they do with Skyrim, they made that VR.
Skyrim VR. Yep.
Let's think of the mod situation. Mods for Fallout. And on consoles. Okay, well, we'll do it for Skyrim as well. So is this their way of kind of like teasing Fallout multiplayer?
Listen, if I get one more Elder Scrolls Skyrim, like
Four
just
player?
redone in
Yeah.
I don't care if it's done in 4K. I don't care. I am sick of
5K,
Skyrim.
yeah.
Listen, enough. I already got
Make
the
a new one.
remastered.
Make a new one.
Don't need it anymore. Yeah, give me
And-
the new one. I don't
and-
care if you give me a 5-second trailer that says
Exactly.
Elder Scrolls. I'm sold.
And that was
I'm
my
done.
and this is a problem that I find with Microsoft, because Microsoft doesn't just focus on games, they always focus on a product with it. So they always like at the very end, here's our new product. So I don't know what it's going to be this year. One year it was let's bring up the Kinect when it first came out. Here's the Kinect.
Oh,
What? Okay, Kinect looks cool. It's something that I've never seen before. It's a Wii without a controller.
What games did you play on the Kinect?
Kinect
Adventures.
Adventures.
I saw the pictures of Michael and Tyler.
Exactly. Like there-
Jumping.
I don't know. There's a bunch like little sports games and stuff like that, but like more importantly, so every game was just circulated around that. So there's some. All right. Well, now I have to pay $150 for this thing, and it's usually a product that lasts like I don't know a couple months, and then I'm like, okay, this is stupid. I don't want to play. I don't want to play in sweat. Like.
And they tried that shit with the Xbox One too. They were gonna make it so that you couldn't buy the Xbox One console without the
Without
Kinect
it?
for a while. That was
I
gonna be a
remember. I remember when Bill Gates introduced the 360 back in the day.
Exactly,
God,
dude.
that was
It
so
was-
long ago.
So like let's
That
like
was
I think PlayStation 4 outdid Xbox, just because I mean Xbox tried to force you to do shit that people didn't want to do, and they didn't focus on gaming. And that's what
Right,
worries me
it's-
about
The product
Microsoft.
sold
Yeah.
sold the games. They didn't let the games sell the product.
Exactly.
What's,
So
what's the future of PC though? And I'm sure we can talk about this on the next one.
And-
But
well,
PC it's in a weird place for me. Like it's on the up, and it's like how's it gonna break the barrier into a lot of more people's homes?
and that is
Yeah.
what I was gonna bring up, because that is where I exactly think Microsoft is going. I think Microsoft sees PC is the way that a lot of people are trying to go, and PC's on the uprise. Microsoft is gonna just start doing every single game for Xbox and PC. Xbox will
But then they're
die
starting with
out
their Play
like that.
Anywhere.
Exactly. So let's
See that
let's look at
disagree with.
Fortnite,
I don't think
okay?
Xbox is gonna die out.
well no because
I don't-
Oh, we're
And
not
here-
saying that, but
Well, I'm
we're
not
just saying
saying it,
where's
like, fully.
PC's place in this
Exactly.
and all this. Where's it going to be?
because Sea of Thieves, what they do with Sea of Thieves, they made it cross-platform. Okay, that's fine.
Fortnite
But
cross-platform, you
P-
would make sense.
PC will always beat a console player. That I mean, just range of motion and stuff like that. And so now we're talking about a Halo. Let's say Halo 6 gets brought up at this E3. Now, is that cross-platform? Do I have the option of just being for Xbox? Do I have it just option for just PC? Do I get it for PC? Like, okay, well, I'll buy it for PC. Why would I buy it for Xbox? Will I have to buy it for PC and then Xbox? Like, there's just a whole bunch of stuff, and there's a lot of little things that they can screw up on that will screw up their whole conference. Bethesda, I'll say again, like me and Taylor are both looking for Elder Scrolls, like 6-player at most. Like, I don't want an ESO. I want a like
A 6-player. Think about it, like a
6-player
6-player
Skyrim
raid. Can
would
you
be
imagine
freaking
that?
amazing. Be unbelievable. So, and now we have next big one, Ubisoft. And
Yeah,
that's going to be
see,
on
I mean-
Monday, June 11th.
See, I'm
and-
super high on Ubisoft just because of their games, but Ubisoft did
It's
something
Joe's
similar too.
conference.
That's Joe's
Well, but I
conference.
mean-
Joe's conference.
But like outside of the Division 2, which we now, I mean, I've been tracking the Reddit. It's all but confirmed that's not coming out this year. The problem I have with Ubisoft is the biggest, and not, I say problem. I use the term loosely because I'm super hyped for it. But the Crew 2, and I already know about the Crew 2. I'm playing the beta right now. I know when it comes out, and I'm already pre-ordering it. So, what do they have to surprise me? Now, I was gonna
Yeah.
say just before we move on, just move too far from that. I honestly, like, looking at that schedule, I believe that the deciding day will be Sunday. Because you have that pair of conferences, you have
Yep.
Microsoft and Bethesda, where, like you guys said, with Halo and Elder Scrolls, you have two games where the fan bases are just starved for a new installment.
Mhm.
I feel like those are the biggest points. And if either one or both of them can hit on those, then they can take the conference right there.
And
If
Bethesda and
neither-
Microsoft kind of like team up with each other, and like I feel like that's why
Yeah.
they're on the same day. They kind of like touch base with each other. They have such a good relationship, Bethesda and Microsoft, and I feel like they can just make such a good game for both of them.
really go for it. And if they
Ubisoft, I
can,
do
feel
not-
like Sony will. I
Ubisoft,
don't see Ubisoft winning.
Assassin's Creed 45.
exactly. I don't think they're gonna come out with anything great. Ubisoft has
I don't
been
think
disappointing
I
me
hope-
for
I
year
hope,
after
but-
year after year.
don't think
Hey, if you want to come out with a new Rainbow Six Vegas, Siege was a huge hitter, but I mean, I was just more of a fan of the Vegas
Oh, wow.
franchise. So I mean, I don't think anything huge is going to come out of Ubisoft. Maybe something. I mean, Ubisoft always comes out with a great concept. They just don't follow it through. After that Ubisoft conference is a huge one. It's going to be the PC gaming show. Nothing like ever like great comes out of these PC gaming shows because there's really no exclusives that come out for. I mean, there's exclusives that come out for PC, but they're not like AAA titles because AAA titles stick to the console.
Right.
So I mean,
And they've all gone before that conference.
exactly, and like Taylor said, I mean, I feel like everything's shaping into the way of PC, but like I want to see how they're gonna try to integrate for more people to start switching over.
It's like you look at we play Destiny 2, and then I see somebody playing on PC, and it's just like, what am I doing? It's
Exactly,
just
and let's get
insane.
Tyler into this because he hasn't said one word since we started this
Okay,
whole
say
thing.
it, Tyler, where are you?
Tyler, you have a PC. What's your take on it?
Well, okay, so I don't know what happened, but I have Destiny on PC now. I don't know how. I never bought it. So I've been playing it the past few days, and I can just tell you in every way, shape, and form, it outperforms and
Of course.
does everything better. I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know how consoles.
How aren't consoles
shape-
up to this standard yet? That's like
That's
my like just
Like-
let's
You'd think they would
let's
be.
talk about
You'd think
60
they
frames
would
per
be.
second. Like, why isn't Destiny 60 frames per second on these new most powerful consoles ever? Okay, Xbox, like,
Which
let's
is how the Xbox One was built, by the way. Forget the Xbox One X. That was how the Xbox One. That was how they built it. This is
Exactly.
going to be the most powerful.
Did you guys get
console
that? Any of you?
today.
not the S or X. No, I didn't.
No, I didn't get the X. I don't even.
And
think
And I buy like every Xbox model that comes
Was there-
out. I
Did
just,
you see any
If it
reviews?
was on sale, I'm gonna buy it, but I'm
Did you
not
see?
gonna buy it.
Did you see any reviews?
I mean, yeah, I mean,
I didn't
it
really
did what
look
it
into it too much.
it did what it says. I mean, it's a quick console. It's
The
4K.
thing is, you have to have so it's like HDR and everything. You also have to have a TV that
Yeah, you have
supports
to have a
everything.
4K TV.
Oh,
That's
shit.
4K, a 4K,
4K,
TV that
yeah.
supports HDR, that supports Dolby Digital Surround and the Dolby HDR. Like you
You
need
need to drop
you
it.
need like a top class TV just to use
Yeah.
it or get any practical use. out of
So
Your
let's.
price tag.
I
That's why
mean,
they
like,
built it as a premium.
is it true
console.
4K? Like, have we? I mean, they said it was true 4K, but they've also said Halo 5 was a true 60 FPS.
60
But
frames? Yeah, whatever
I mean-
that was.
It's true 4K on like the newer games, and they're advertised as such. Like they'll have it on the back of like the case or whatever.
Me too.
so, I mean, all right.
Dude,
I don't think
Like
so.
anything makes
That
you
came out
ability.
before the Xbox.
Yeah, and they said, "Oh, we'll upscale everything," but Destiny just happened to not be on that list. Okay, Microsoft also they're gonna come out with remastered crap like, "Oh, these are now backwards compatible. These new 700 games, Microsoft Pass, stuff like that." Ubisoft, like I said, what do they have to offer? Maybe a new Rainbow Six, which would be a huge hit for them. I agree with that. They have Division 2, maybe a huge hit. I'm excited for that. And they also have, I mean, what else can they do? Another Assassin's Creed. I'm like, whatever. I'm over Assassin's Creed at this point. Like, how many are you gonna do? Like modern day Assassin's Creed, where
I mean, Assassin's Creed Origins-
cyborgs. Like, I don't know.
Assassin's Creed Origins looked amazing.
Oh no,
It looked so good.
From
but
what
the
I heard, it
problem
was-
is the gameplay is still the same.
Exactly. And then so we
and
went.
because Assassin's Creed has the critical flaw of no PvP, there, that's it. It's at some point it's gonna die out.
And we hit on the PC, and that's like kind of where we went with it. I mean, PC is just so much like when you play on PC, it's just like totally changes the game. And I think that consoles need to step up to the plate where 60 frames per second, 4K and stuff like that. But I mean, they can't touch on a PC, and I can play with a controller on PC. So it's like if I didn't have friends like you guys that were on Xbox, I'd just be a sole PC player. Like, plain and simple. So I think that PC is just on the rise, like Taylor said. I just want to see how they will implement getting more people to come to it. Next up is Sony, another huge hitter that has the potential of being the best yet. I think they hit last year on the money, and I think they were the best conference of last year. They have huge exclusive or marketing rights to Call of Duty. They have huge marketing rights to Destiny. And I mean, like, those are just two huge hitters.
I was gonna say, like, get out a pen and paper and let's everybody make a prediction now. Who wins this? We'll write it down and we'll come back to this in 2 weeks and see.
Oh yeah.
And see who won this.
Absolutely. And I mean, so let's just say Sony always has really good exclusives that come out. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Sony's just gonna be solid. There's nothing I can say bad about Sony's game. I mean, I'm an Xbox fan, so screw Sony, but there's nothing I can say about their conferences because they always do good. Except last year, didn't they like not have sound on their stream like for solid like hour?
Yeah. But that says a lot though about the state of things where the criterion for winning E3 is beat Sony.
Yeah, and I mean...
It says a lot, and it shows that Sony's focus on games overall, even though we're Xbox players and we don't have PlayStations, it shows that Sony's focus on games and getting the better IP paid off. Sure, they didn't have Destiny from the beginning. They got it when it counted, I think we can say.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I wonder what the numbers are though, and I haven't looked this at all. Like who's actually winning like financially, and who's actually like getting more sales at this point? Because I haven't seen those numbers in a long time, not since like 2013, I think.
Exactly, and I mean,
So I'm curious.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that Sony just like I can't say anything bad about Sony, so therefore I think Sony is good in my book. Like that's the sad part about it.
Mike's prediction is Sony. All right.
No, my prediction is Microsoft. I think Microsoft will kill it this year.
Oh, you think Microsoft?
I think Microsoft, and I mean that might just be that's my biased opinion, but I think that Microsoft. I've trusted them. Fool me once, like shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, whatever. I'm like over it at this point. Fool me 4, 5, 6 times. I'm just like, all right, well you're just on fool me forever. So whatever.
Okay, so for the second question then, to follow up, you think Microsoft wins E3. What is your bet for how many times they say, you've asked and we delivered?
13.
13?
No, I'm giving like a solid number. Like I'm not gonna like I'm gonna try to give you a solid number. Like they're gonna give you 13 of the "you've asked, we listen" bullshit because that's just Phil Spencer's favorite line of all time, where he just goes, "You've asked, we listened. You've asked, we listened," and it's like.
Which you know what that is, right?
Listen,
That's
I've never
psychology to make us think we wanted what he's about to say.
I never asked you for that. Did I ask you to change the Microsoft guide sound? No. What the hell? Like, oh, this is revolutionary. Okay, sweet. Like,
From what I'm reading, from 2017, the PlayStation 4S sold a lot more than Xbox, but all of them are doing well.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
in general.
And I mean, I don't find that surprising. And the next conference, June 12th, and I think that's something that just goes extremely underrated nowadays. And I will touch base on what they could do to have the best E3 in history. Nintendo.
I want to hear this idea. Mike. How do you, especially as people who don't own Nintendo consoles?
Oh wait,
how do you figure they steal the show?
How do they steal the show? I think that anybody can answer this out of me, Tyler, and Taylor, because I've been saying it for years, and we've all been saying it for years. Make a GameCube remastered with multiplayer.
Okay.
I know that would, like
Give me the 10,000 Year Door as well. That you got me.
exactly make these games remastered. Kirby Air Ride
Bring
remastered.
GameCube
Like
back
just
from the past.
bring these like with Zelda Breath of the Wild graphics. Like oh my god, on the like bring it to the Switch. Bring some of these games back. I don't even like need the GameCube necessarily. I just need like the games back because the games are what makes consoles. Consoles don't make games.
Exactly. Hey, you said for all Microsoft and Sony have gone for the remastering to hell and back. It feels like Nintendo hasn't.
Yeah, no, I mean,
You know, they've been new games full steam ahead, and it's maybe.
but they're
back to
new
the
games
past.
of old classic games like Breath of the Wild.
Right.
I still think Breath of the Wild is the last game that I was like, oh my fucking god, I love this game. I think that was
Really.
yes, I love Breath of the Wild. I think it was one of the best games I ever played. I'm like kind of curious on how it ranked in the whole Zelda like universe. I just thought it was an amazing game, and I mean you really can't go wrong with Zelda. Zeldas are always fantastic games, and I mean Nintendo just always hits money on whatever they make, whatever they touch. Their new Pokemon game, they like Nintendo actually listens to what people have to say. So like what was like a number one thing of like Pokemon that annoyed you? When I'm walking through grass, I don't want to get into a fight every 15 seconds, which is what it was. Like I hated that about Pokemon. So now you can see the things in the Pokemon in the grass and like you can avoid them and stuff. I was just watching a video on that, and I think that's awesome. Like that's just something like a small thing that you can do to like help. One thing that like I think that all game companies need to do and all these people need to start doing is more updates, just like weekly updates. Fortnite, I get on every time I get on, it's an update, and I mean,
But there's got to be a variable of like difficulty, like
yeah.
Constantly updating a game like Fortnite versus a game like Destiny. It's got to be really hard without like messing up
true.
the sandbox.
Yeah.
Very true.
And you're
Very
just
good
dealing
point.
with quality of graphics. You know, Fortnite.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
absolutely.
Not the most eye
Easier
appealing
to
thing
update
in the world.
Fortnite. Yeah, it's a lot
And-
easier to update Fortnite.
One thing that I think that will be a huge hit for E3 in general, and I think that will just blow everybody's mind is a new huge MMO. I think that would be absolutely incredible. One thing that will be announced, I believe, is a World of Warcraft, like classic World of Warcraft come back. None of us really ever played World of Warcraft, but I mean that's just huge news for whoever played World of
Totally
Warcraft.
big. Yeah.
However,
I was gonna
boys,
say, Mike, let's make this let's make like we're gonna get all four of our predictions. Let's make it threefold. You have your favorite conference. You have how many times Phil Spencer says his favorite line. What do you think is the best game coming out of E3? What do you
best
think
game coming
is
out
the
of
game?
E3. Besides for Fortnite, because I think, like in my opinion, what best game's gonna come out? I think Anthem.
Of the games that are confirmed, or of like any that we possibly think might come out.
However, whatever you think might come out, or whatever your
Christ,
bet
if,
is.
if there's an Elder Scrolls, then that's my winner. They
Elder
haven't failed
Scrolls.
me yet.
I would say
Who do you-
that.
And who do you think wins? Who do you think wins the conferences, Taylor?
Well, for me, if an Elder Scrolls comes out, then Bethesda. I'm very
Bethesda.
biased. I'm sorry.
Okay,
That's just my.
Tyler.
I've been waiting too long for this thing.
If they did come out with something, that would be my pick. Otherwise, obviously, I'd hope Microsoft wins.
Who'd you say?
Yeah.
If we do get another Elder Scrolls game, it would be Bethesda. Hands
Welcome to
down.
the club, Tyler. I knew you were a true
So
brother.
that's the.
Uh,
I think, or I'm hoping Microsoft would take it.
Brothers
okay,
in arms, my friend.
go.
Well, I am gonna be a man on my island here. I'm
Oh
gonna
my
bet the long
goodness.
shot.
Voting
Ubisoft.
for Sega.
I'm gonna bet
Ubisoft.
the long shot, and I'm gonna bet Ubisoft. Only because I am hoping.
How original, young man.
Listen to me. I am hoping to God. They know what they have to do. They know what they have to do.
They've
to make
known what they
Division
had to
2
do for the last 8 years, but
Exactly. they've known what they know, and they've known what they have to do to make the Division 2 as big as the Division 1 should have been and be the biggest thing out there. I pray to God that they do it.
But
Please,
they won't
do
because
it.
it's
No,
Ubisoft,
they-
and
I
we've
know they
we've
won't,
had
but
this
it's my
conversation a
prediction.
billion times before, and Ubisoft will be Ubisoft and not do what they're supposed to do
Ubisoft's gonna
and
do
ruin the game. My prediction: best game coming out of E3 that I know, like I'm gonna go. If an Elder Scrolls multiplayer comes out, that would be freaking awesome. That would be my top pick, 100%. From what I know right now, best game coming out, Anthem.
Anthem, yeah.
As far as what we know for sure, yeah, I agree.
Exactly, Anthem. Best conference, I already said Microsoft. I think Microsoft will bring the heat this year, like they said in their own words. We're bringing the heat.
Right.
But I
Hope so,
fool
man.
me
I
once,
really hope
crap
so.
again,
There's
dude.
like that's
Bring
the
the
theme of this
thunder.
year. There's so much potential. There's so much potential. I just hope
So
they
much
capitalize
potential.
on it.
And I mean,
All
Bethesda,
across-
like I said, Bethesda and Microsoft always hit like the nail with each other. They're like good, really good together. So I think that whatever Microsoft brings, Bethesda will bring just as much with it. And I think in second place, I'm just gonna throw a little second place Nintendo. I think Nintendo's gonna come out with something that shocks the world
Honorable
again.
mention.
Honorable mention.
Exactly. Nintendo, I've always have hope in Nintendo. Nintendo always gives me good content. I mean, the safe bet, Sony. I think that's
Yeah,
safe to
Sony-
say.
Sony's
Sony's
a
just
safe
gonna have a
bet.
solid.
That's why I
solid
took
conference.
everybody. So I'm like, I feel like Sony's got.
I don't
the
like
best
Sony games though.
chance.
Not anymore, I should say. I used to
Yeah, yeah.
play like Jack and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, and those games way back in the day. You guys probably don't even know those. Or I'm sure you guys have heard of them, but you probably never
I've heard
played
of 'em,
them.
but I
Those
don't
are
know.
so much fun, and I don't even know why. They're just amazing.
And I mean, they don't
But-
have that anymore. But
They're not there anymore. Go figure.
I mean, boys, that is an hour and 5 minutes. So we're gonna end the talk show there. Hopefully, we will be
Wow,
back
holy crap, that went
sooner
fast.
than Friday. I want to have another
Oh,
talk
yeah.
show. I think this is fun. I think it's something that, I mean, we were having pretty good, consistent viewers throughout the whole thing. And I mean, just again, like it's
Maybe we
just
can have the Flake Meister himself next time.
yeah. Hopefully,
Mr.
we'll have our
B.
full group next time, and I
I
mean,
feel
it'll be
like
even more
I
fun.
feel like Ubisoft's got a better chance of winning E3 than we have of Sanan being here for the talk show.
You know,
Shots fired.
but anyways, I
Call him
mean.
out.
We're at least us four are gonna be here. Hopefully Tyler's a little more talkative. I don't know what he's doing today.
Who gave
But,
my man the
Anyways,
juice?
thank you guys so much for watching. Please tune in next time. This is episode
Sure.
1 of the Bulk Nation podcast with my boys Tyler, Joe, and Taylor, and
Here.
the missing guy Sanan, but fuck him anyways. But
Ladies and gentlemen.
thank you
Until
guys.
next
Thank
time.
you for watching these E3 predictions, and we will be back next week with some more E3 stuff probably, and just probably some other topics as well. Thank you guys so much for watching.